Hey guys, welcome to the Nurse Mark and the Green Nurse Daily Dose of AFA.
Where we bring you hope and inspiration for growth and healing so you can start your day off the AFA way. And in case you have forgotten, we're going to remind you. Mark?
I forgot, Sherry. What is? No, I didn't forget. It's that you're absolutely fucking amazing exactly as you are. You don't need to
Exactly.
change one damn thing about you. And
Yes.
see, that's the illusion, is that there's something flawed, something wrong with you, the way that you are. You, the you that doesn't change, the you that is eternal, is absolutely fucking amazing and perfect. You just take on this human being thing. And you're being something completely different at all times, a lot of the times.
Exactly.
Right? The
Exactly.
20-year-old you
Exactly. Well,
was
even
significantly different than the you that's here today, Sherry. Isn't that true?
oh my goodness, the 20-year-old me, but the 20-year-old me comes out every now and then. You just
Well, yeah,
never
I mean,
know.
it's all still in here. It's all our experience. But what I'm saying is how you feel about things, how you think about
Oh,
things, that
yes. Yes.
the way you were being when you were 20 is
Mhm.
not the way you're being today. So it's just a matter
No.
of who are you being at this moment in time, because the you that was you at 20, that eternal spirit you, is always the same. It's
Yeah.
just love, but it gets filtered into this tight meat suit, like you like to say,
Oh,
that
it is such a
you're
meat
just
suit.
all opinion and judgment and experience, and none of it's real. The fact of the matter is, the you that's underneath all of that is eternal and loving and just absolutely perfect. So that's the point.
Perfect.
You're absolutely amazing. And all of these things that we talk about and all the things that we do are about calming down that beingness of human and allowing that
Yes.
spirit to arise, or allowing that to be
Yes.
present in that moment of being.
Exactly. And being, well, think about it. And here's a really good way to remind yourself how we're all the same.
Yep.
We're all the same. Right? So think about the skull makes us, I'm floating in and out here.
Yeah,
So one
yeah,
of the
you're
reminders to
you're in
me is
choppy
like when you
Vermont.
see a skull,
Yep.
I'm in choppy Vermont. Oh, Jesus. Got to get those antennas up. Maybe it's my hat. I should take my hat
You
off
know
for
what?
my
I think the
hair.
cow went
The
in front of the
antennas on my hair. Can you
microwave
hear
dish.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You got to move the cow away from the microwave dish. Go have someone go outside and push that cow out of the way. It's in front of the antenna.
I know where. I know. I'm here at Dubtech Studios here at In the Weeds Prohibition Talk Radio,
Yes.
broadcasting live for you guys with Nurse Mark in Florida.
Listen, who's
So
ever
can you
on
hear
that
me still or not
bicycle that's
really?
making that internet go, you better get them going a little bit faster. But we're
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. All right. So we're here. So the whole point I was trying to make is when I remember, the
Mhm.
core of who we are, just like we have the flesh, we all have
Yep.
bones and the bones makes us all the same. So that whole image of the skull always makes me realize beneath everything, that's what we are. We all have bones. It doesn't matter. We're all like at our core,
Yeah.
divinely perfect human, divine expression of creative love, right? And then
Yes.
we have all of the stuff that's layered on top of it,
Now,
which has just
yes. So,
been
Sherry, think about it. There are people who dedicate their lives to doing nothing but meditating to decrease that humanness of the experience, right? To calm that mind that's always operating, because that's default human nature. It's how we're wired as animals, right? So the physical part of it, there are people who spend their whole lives
yeah,
in monasteries meditating just so they can calm that down to access spirit, all manifested, right? They're trying to transcend the
yeah,
humanness, the human body. And so here we are. We're talking about it every day. And we start off by saying that you are all absolutely fucking amazing. Every single one of you is absolutely
yeah.
amazing. And it's without question. And it's just, oh, I'm in awe
Well,
of
that's the thing
every.
too is Yes, and here's the thing and this is why we show up every day, because this transformation
Mhm.
starts within. Okay? And what we do is we look outside of ourselves. So right
Yeah.
now we want you to look to us to look to us every single morning so we can remind you, because we forget. In here we've got built-in forgetters. And these
Oh,
built-in
yeah.
forgetters always want to either keep us stuck in the past or projecting
By
into the future.
design. By
So,
design, it keeps us stuck in
by
the past
design,
because, hey,
rewired.
guess what? The past worked, Sherry. We're still alive. And in our brain, that tiny portion that's
Bingo.
the deepest and oldest, it says the thing that we are responsible for is keeping this thing alive. That's it. We don't care if you smoke, drink, do whatever you do. Whatever you did yesterday worked because we're still alive. No reasoning, no judgment, just knows that we're still alive. Let's do the same thing that we did yesterday, whether it's
Right,
positive for you or not.
right.
And taking Pat calming down allows opportunity for dealing with change and expansion and in just a flourishing, amazing life. We get unstuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get unstuck. Processing emotion from a
Monday.
place of shifting of perspective
Yes.
consciousness. Really,
Mhm.
truly, truly. What is a miracle? A miracle is a
Mhm.
change of perception, that aha moment when it just makes sense. And let me tell you, it's taken 50 years for things to make sense. And a lot of times it
Oh
still
my
doesn't
God.
make sense to me.
Of course not.
So, yeah, so that's what we do every day. And so
Monday.
here we are. It's a
That's the
Monday
beauty of it.
morning. That's what we do.
Monday, 12,
So I got to give a
2021. I got to give a shout out.
yes.
Sherry, I got to give a shout out. It was my baby sister's, my only sister's birthday on Saturday. And
Oh,
yeah, yeah. And
oh,
we're not super close. We love each other to death, but we haven't spent a lot of time together. We worked together years ago, and then I fired her, which, oh my gosh, we've had a bumpy road from time to time. My
oh my
humanness
God.
got in the way. But anyway, we're not that close because we're a little distant in age. I don't know. She's probably, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years younger than I am. Anyway,
Mm,
I left the house at 17 and didn't come back. So we
right.
didn't spend a lot of time together, right? She was young when I left. And anyway, she's an amazing human being and love her to death. She got a great family, a great husband, two beautiful sons. And anyway, it was her birthday on Saturday and she was celebrating. So, hey, happy birthday, sis.
Oh,
You made
happy
it another
birthday,
year.
nurse Mark, sister, another year around the sun. Well, guess
Yep.
what? I got to say happy birthday to my mother. My mother
Oh,
had a birthday yesterday. Mamacita, I love you. So my mom, this part that's really cool about my mom's story is she was anti-cannabis.
yeah.
And
Oh,
cannabis,
mine
through us
too.
doing these podcasts, changed her life. And I put some pictures up in the Green Nurse community yesterday of one of the photos of my mom who did a podcast with me, and she came out of the cannabis closet. So it took a
Mhm.
while for her to get on board, but the bottom line is that it's improved their quality of life. She's now on it, and now she speaks about
Yeah.
it freely, and that is truly a miracle.
Oh,
Mom, I love
listen,
you. Happy birthday.
takes time and courage for people to come around.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
if you are given a message by everyone around you, including the government and all the media, a message for, most of your life, actually all of your life, if you were born after 1937 or you were born prior to that, even from the beginning of the 30s and 33, you were negatively marketed to day in and day out about the danger of drugs. And
yeah,
study after study after study, and all of that time has revealed that the war on drugs is the most ridiculous endeavor ever, and it's just driven by the most stupid political, racial undertones, reasons, right? So it's
Hey, Mark,
just
tell me what you
ridiculous.
really think. Tell me what
God,
you
I
really
know,
think,
right?
Mark.
I'm holding back. I want to embellish with some of my favorite cuss words, but I'm going to keep it at a different place. I'm just going to say
Oh,
we were totally bamboozled by, the established white power machine. And I don't agree anymore because laws are all about agreement. I don't agree with that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I
So
completely agree with you.
So we're on
Here we are.
Motivational Monday, baby. We are here So let's
Yes.
talk. What do you think? You want to talk a little daily love?
I think we should go right into the love. Everyone needs a little love on Monday
Let's
morning.
go to the love. And today I like this one. You guys know by now, I'm such a huge fan of Emmett Fox, and Emmett was
Mhm.
really popular in the 30s and 40s. And the 30s was really big for this new age thought. This you what you are is what you think movement.
Mhm.
And so there were people like Emmett Fox, who came from the Christian tradition, and so his was more of a spiritual bent. Then you had Napoleon Hill, which, if you're an entrepreneur or a business person, you have read the book
I read it.
Grow Rich. If
Yeah,
you
Think and Grow Rich.
have not read that book, it was by Napoleon Hill, and it really was one of the first where he went out and interviewed all of the most successful business people of that time, interviewed them, studied them to understand what was it that made them different. And at the end of the day, he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. And so it's really one of the first ones talking about manifestation, about what you think is what you're going to have in your life. And that was the difference between those who achieved the pinnacle of success and those who struggled day in and day out. So anyway,
Right.
Emmett was one of those contemporaries of Napoleon Hill, and it's same thing. His is think and have the most amazing life and connection to God. That was his thing. But it was the same messaging. So here's today's message.
I love it.
Change is the law of the universe. Without change, the world would not merely remain in a static sense. I'm sorry, the world would not merely remain in a static state, but it would soon become stale and stagnant. Without change, no progress, for is the essence of betterment. It is obvious that to do anything in a new and better way, there must be a change. Many people look upon change with dread and foreboding, but for those on the spiritual path, for those who believe in God and the power of prayer, change is a fuller expression of life. When a problem or condition arises in your life that indicates a change, rely upon God and realize that it's not so much that a door is closed on a chapter of your life, but rather that a door has opened on new and more interesting things. Now, again, he comes from the perspective of his Christian background. And so for some people, when you say the word God, it brings up memories from the past, things that they were told. That one three-letter word has so much meaning, and yet at the end of the day, at its root, it's meaningless. Like, you get to decide what it means. So I'm inviting anybody who has a negative connotation with that word, suspend that for the moment and step
Suspended.
into this new world. Yeah. So it's
Step.
about
I love
change.
it.
And so share. I get excuse me. I give the example of, in 1998, I was running my business. We were super successful, doing like 4 million a year, 40 employees. We made the Inc. 500 list twice. Now, this is not easy to do, right? It's the 500 fastest growing companies in the United States. We made it 2 years in a row. I get a letter from the president at the time, Bill Clinton, congratulating us. John Kerry, who was a state senator, sent us a letter. Like, we were really flying high.
You were cranking. You're
Yeah.
flying
And
high.
then the Bank of America came in and said, hey, guys, we loaned you $300,000 line of credit. We want it back. I'm like, okay. They said, in 30 days. Now, we'd used that $300,000 to grow our company, so we didn't have it. And so we
Oh,
had no way to pay it back. So imagine I'm the CEO and I'm under a little bit of stress. It's like, it's the end of the business. If they come and they can liquidate their money back. And so as a result of that, my therapist at the time said, hey, listen, you need to de-stress. And I a week at a retreat center for a week-long yoga and meditation retreat. And it was a transformational moment in my life, because I came back and became a yoga instructor, decreased my stress. I've been doing meditation off and on since then. It's a huge part of how I treat my depression. Anyway, I got that out of it. Now, in my business life, I was forced at that moment by the bank to report financials on a monthly basis to the penny. And I hadn't been trained in that. I didn't have a business background. I just started a business like most crazy entrepreneurs do. no training, right? So I was forced to learn corporate finance. I was forced to learn how to read a profit and loss and a balance sheet and all these things. And you know what? It was one of the greatest business lessons that I ever had to learn. So I can remember thinking, Sherry, that this is the worst moment in my life. My business is going to go, it's going to go out of business. It's going to be awful. Well, guess what? It was one of the greatest transformational moments of my life. And had it not happened, had that change not occurred, my life wouldn't be what it is today. So the message is embrace
I
change.
love
You
that
don't
story.
know what's going to happen after
And
this. You have no idea.
and we
You
can
can't
tie it right into
conceive of it.
cannabis. No clue. No, it's so
Right. And
true
here you
because I
are.
thought my life. Here we are. So many patients. Like, we can even tie it into chronic illness. People that get
There we
sick
go.
and ill, and the
Yeah.
story around sickness and illness and trajectory and change and what does this illness mean, and you start creating stories and what can I do. So here to
Mhm.
tell you that, it was really, really hard from going from high functioning to not functioning at all. A lot of people that happens to instantaneously. A lot of patients, develop these chronic debilitating illnesses. So what can you do, right? You can take care of yourself. You work through it. You don't live in the story. You don't let the limitations of what is being placed upon you through the traditional system to stop
No.
you from living your best life. And then it's that
You
processing, the body keeps score. Body keeps score. What can I
Yep.
do right here, right now to keep going and not give up? But the transformation
Yeah.
happened slowly
Uh-huh.
over time. So change. So here's a really cool story too. So I love these stories because, Mark, same thing. Going through change as an entrepreneur, we're growing, we're
Yep.
changing. It can be scary, right? Because here we are in uncharted territory of this cannabis industry that is starting to explode, and everyone's feeling out their way. And sometimes you get stuck in the, oh, am I doing the right thing? Oh no, is this going to work? In the story. So music therapy. I told you the story yesterday. Music
Yep.
therapy is really, really good for me. So what I did was I said, Spirit, what do I need to know as I'm driving up to Vermont? And so these songs started to play and it hit right on the head. So the fifth dimension, this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. I was like, that's what we're in. We're in the age of Aquarius. And then the next song was The Great Unknown. I was like, ooh, the great unknown. We are in
Mhm.
uncharted territories. None of
We
us, and this is
are.
just generally about
We
anything.
are.
We don't know what's going to happen and how much
Right.
power there is in the potential of the unknown,
Yeah.
right? Because we can co-create it. We can create it. Then the
Right.
next song was, ready? The next song was this, up, up and away in my beautiful balloon. So here I am going, oh, the universe wants me to stay elevated.
Yes. Oh God, I
And then,
love it. I love it.
finally, the last song was this,
Yep.
life is a party.
It
Life
is.
is a party. So
You
age
know?
of Aquarius, the
Yep.
great unknown, up and
Mhm.
away, and life is a party. So these music, these lyrics, they move you and they help to change your perception and help you to get through those
Yeah.
icky, stuck feelings.
Powerful way.
Right? Really
Yep.
great topic today, Mark. Change. It's the one thing that we can
Oh,
count
yeah.
on every
So
single day.
exactly. You can count on change. It's just gonna be that way. So you might as well get used to it and actually embrace it. And so that was it. At the end of the day, this huge moment of change that I thought was horrible in the beginning turned out to be one of the biggest transformational moments in my life.
Blessings.
Changed the path
Yeah.
of my life, literally. And so it's
So here we
Monday.
are.
Here we are. We're back. We're
Manifest
going, it's Motivational Monday, Sherry, and we're going to talk
Monday.
through these cannabinoids. So give me the
Yes.
background. Why are we doing this?
The background. Well, really quickly. So, as we're showing up every Monday, we're very passionate about this plant. We know that cannabis can increase quality of life, decrease suffering. So, what I learned over time as I started to delve into the space and get educated was that the National Council State Boards of Nursing put out guidelines in
Mhm,
2018 in the Journal of Nursing Regulations for Medical Cannabis. And so, the National
mhm.
Council State Boards of Nursing, they put on the nursing board exams for all nurses to get licensed in every single state. So they identified 6 essential areas of knowledge about cannabis for all nurses nursing students, and advanced practice nurses. So Mark and I have been going through all 6 of these. We've been doing this for 6 months, and we keep covering different topics. So the
Yeah.
third one is the nurse shall have an understanding of the endocannabinoid system, cannabinoid receptors, cannabinoids, and the interactions between them. So today, what we've been doing is we've been discussing various areas. And last week we discussed CBG, which is a
Yeah.
cannabinoid. And today we're going to discuss
What?
CBN.
Today's show is brought to you by CBN. Here we go. So, Sherry, I can't believe
CBN. And so how's it
CBN,
pronounced, Mark?
cannabinol. Hmm?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, it was discovered in 1896.
Cannabinol.
Cannabinol. Cannabinol. 1896 it was discovered. The chemical
Cannabinol.
structure
CBN.
was determined in 1940 by Roger Adams. Now, I don't know, I'm thinking back. Is Adams the same guy that elucidated what CBD was around the same time? I think it may have been.
I think it
But
is. Yeah, very similar.
yeah, he determined the chemical
Yeah, I think it
structure
is.
back in 1940, like so far back, right? That was the year my dad was born, for gosh sakes.
I mean, just think, that's a long
Yeah,
time. These cannabinoids, long
there's a lot of
time.
research out there. Even though we were kind of
Yeah.
stunted, there's a lot of stuff done outside the country. So here we are. We're talking about cannabinol, CBN. Um, and Sherry, here's the interesting thing. CBN is found in the cannabis plant mostly due to the natural chemical changes of the aging of the plant. So the other components,
Mm,
THC, the other ones, as they age and degrade and go through their chemical processes of just kind of dissipating,
yeah.
CBN is produced. So it's an
Yeah.
older cannabis that's
Yep.
been
It's an older
harvested. Yeah.
cannabinoid. Yes. So I just kind of faded in and out. So I want really quickly. So basically, what I learned too about in looking here about CBN being
Mhm.
non-impairing, non-psychoactive, but very sedating. But it's really interesting what the science has shown. So it shows that it's mildly psychoactive, found in trace amounts in cannabis, mostly
Yeah.
found in the aged cannabis. But when you isolate the
Mhm.
compound alone, so when we look at the plant, we all know that there's a ton of
Mhm.
compounds, over 100 cannabinoids, terpenes, essential fatty acids, bioflavonoids, cannaflavins that all contribute to the rich part of the plant. So we're pulling
Mhm.
off one cannabinoid part of this whole plant. And so CBN has been noted. What the research has actually shown is that the CBN isolate is not as sedating as people think. And they did a research study back in the 70s, and study participants reported that the isolated compound and didn't. Is it sedating to some people? Well, the answer pretty much lies in is that the whole plant is involved. So you think about if you're using the whole plant and it starts to age,
Mhm.
right? It all, and this could actually contribute to the drowsiness.
Yeah, say that again. You weaved in and out there, kid. You there? Hello, Sherry. Oh my gosh, Sherry is lost in the land of the mountains. Here she comes. You back again?
I'm back. Can you hear
There
me?
you are. You're partly back.
I'm partly
Well,
back. All right.
must be one of those must be one of those sunspot days where there's electrical magnetic interference with the internet connection. So, like you were saying, it's
Yeah.
sedating for some and non for others, right? So it's about the monoterpenoids, just like you quoted Dr. Ethan Russo, and he said pure CBN is not particularly sedating and is typically found in aged cannabis in which the monoterpenoids have evaporated, leaving the more sedating oxygenated sesquiterpenoids. Don't you love Mondays? We talk all about all this chemistry. I
I know. I love it.
love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Me too. Because it's fun. It's educational. And, because people are getting just a lot of information out there. And so
Mhm.
I've actually, with doing consultations with patients, patients are saying, I'm taking CBN alone. And I'm like, as the therapeutic effect, because they're isolating it. So, the education around it is, think about like the entourage, the whole of the plant. You start to add more of the plant, you're going to have a more rounded out experience.
Yeah.
So
And
the
here's,
study on drowsiness, I thought this was
yeah.
really,
What did it
go
come
ahead.
up with?
So basically the study on drowsiness showed that THC alone can produce drowsiness. THC plus CBN produced higher levels of drowsiness. CBN alone as the isolated molecule did not make the subjects drowsy.
Now that's funny. Now, and
The other,
so Sherry, we're talking about full plant here. We're talking about all the constituent components needing to be in place to have an effect, right? So, I know we talked over
right.
the weekend. On Saturday, this is a good story that's in alignment with this. On Saturday, I had the opportunity to have lunch with
Oh, you
Sanjeev
just paused. I can't hear you.
Chopra, wife Amita, right? And Sanjeev is Amita, his wife is a pediatrician, and Sanjeev is the former dean of continuing medical education at Harvard Medical School, right? Super amazing people. Just absolutely a joy to have lunch with them and have a chat, and we joked, and they were just fun people. He's written a book that's going to be coming about the power of coffee, and he fills it with all of these studies about how coffee is so beneficial for the body, for your brain, for life expectancy, so many things we talked about. It was fascinating. But what he said was, it's not the caffeine. So if we're talking energy drinks with caffeine, no bueno. But coffee, full coffee, it's all of the constituent products. It's not the caffeine. It's all of the other things, the flavonoids and things that are in coffee that make it so powerful. So it's a plant medicine, right? So coffee is another plant medicine, just like cannabis, where this study said THC and CBN together work much better at sedating than just CBN, right? All right. Well, so we're going to continue on. Sherry's going to pop back in again. Yeah, she will. All right. So we're going to keep going. So there were 28 studies that we looked at, and most studies are done on CBN are finally being done here in the USA, right? So again, we're early on in studies, but oh my gosh, there are so many that we're working with. There was one human clinical trial, 75% positive for people with cerebral palsy, one meta-analysis, and that's meta-analyses are a study of all of the study and literature that's out there. So they're pretty good because they take from everything that's been done, analyze it, and then come up with a hypothesis or an answer. All right, 7 animal studies, 8 lab studies, and the top studies by organ system.
Hey,
Oh my God, you came back. All right,
I'm
welcome back
back.
to the show, Sherry.
Oh, geez, this is great. So what happened? What did I miss? Where were
Well,
we?
we're down to the top studies by organs. We're blasting right along. We're at 28 minutes. We're moving right along. So we're talking about the studies that
Okay,
have been done for CBN. So we have the organ systems, nervous system, mental, emotional, respiratory, immune, skin, digestive, muscular, reproductive. Does it sound familiar about all the things that we're talking about with cannabis? Yeah, it has an effect on every one of those areas, right? The endocannabinoid system, that umbrella. Yeah, it's all of those. So what other top conditions are related to CBN study share? Can you find it?
Yep.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
oh, there you are. You're back
Epilepsy.
again. Okay.
Okay, so I'll do this fast. You ready? Epilepsy, ALS, ADD, ADHD, cerebral palsy, acute pain, MS, and pregnancy. So we've been using a lot of CBN with a lot of patients that we work with, and we're seeing a huge benefit. And the part that's really great about this too is a lot of times patients can use this and keep their THC levels low until they're able to increase them slowly. So the benefits, Mark, we've got a bunch of them.
Oh my gosh. Antibacterial. Again, we keep coming back to cannabis being antibacterial. And these different components are all antibacterial, where at some point they affect that bacteria to where it can't reproduce.
Right.
We love that.
We love that. And then a neuroprotectant, right? So you think about the neuroprotectant properties. So in one rodent study, it found that CBN was able to delay the onset of ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, which is a chronic debilitating illness that there's no cure. So it's a neuroprotective. CBN is a powerful.
It's a neurodegenerative disease,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yep. And we've been working with some patients that have ALS, and they are seeing tremendous results using the whole plant, CBN, CBG, CBD, and a little bit of THC. All right. What else do we got going on for benefits, Mark?
Oh, appetite stimulation. CBN increased the amount of food that the rat subjects ate, right? So it could be an alternative to THC for appetite stimulation because, of course, some people don't want that intoxicating effect from THC. So an alternative like CBN, which is just the aging chemically changed THC, still has an effect, which is great.
Yeah. Then the next one, benefits, glaucoma. Another study. This is great though, but glaucoma we're going to mention really quickly. So a rabbit study found that CBN as well as THC reduces intraocular pressure, which is the biggest risk factor for glaucoma. However, I do have glaucoma, and there's a lot of patients, and I've spoken to some doctors about this, and they do, believe it or not, they do know about the endocannabinoid system. And the issue that they have about glaucoma is that people would need to consume cannabinoids every 2 to 3 hours for it to be effective to keep the eye pressure down. So basically, really too hard to dose and to know for a fact that it will keep the pressure down. So cannabis,
it's an adjunct.
It's an adjunct. Yeah, complementary.
Yep.
And what about the last one, Mark?
Oh, anti-inflammatory. You see the common theme? It's all of these. It's all playing a part in how powerful cannabis is in anti-inflammatory conditions. I mean, anti-inflammation is one of the key things that cannabis works with. And of course, inflammation is one of the things that's really stressful in the body, and it's part of the aging process. And so this study showed that CBN was able to help with rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Ooh, 32 minutes.
So how do we use CBN?
We're talkative today.
We're done. We're wrapping it up. So anyway, so how do we work with patients? So there's a ton of new formulations that are out there adding CBN and all these other products. So what we do is we work with patients. We look at everything. We look at their intake form, their diseases, their symptoms, the pharmaceuticals that we're on, and we craft a care plan based on what a patient's looking for by providing all the education surrounding the whole plant. So, right, Mark?
Right, Sherry. All right. So, what do we got going on?
Wrapping it up. Sorry about.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. What do we got going on?
All right, for the rest of the night. If people can't hear me, I'll let you wrap it up.
Go ahead.
Monday night tonight at 8 p.m. we have a Healy informational session. If you go to the Green Nurse page under the events, you can come learn about Healy. And if you're interested, the nurses, Carrie Lee, Michelle, and Denise will be talking about Healy and about how you can get involved if you're interested in learning more. Wednesday night at 4:20 in the Weeds Prohibition Talk Radio. Say that again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay, good. Okay. So Wednesday, 4:20 to 6:20 in the Weeds Prohibition Talk Radio with Mike Wise. So he's a big time podcaster, and he's come up with the Cannabis Awards that are going to be announced.
She said they're going to be announced very soon when we're in the running. Yeah. So Mike Wise will be on 4:20 on Wednesday in the Weeds Prohibition Talk Radio. And Wednesday at 8 p.m., we have the Nurse Mark and the Green Nurse podcast with Mike Wise, right? So,
all right. Well, that's a wrap. No one
remember, Frequency Friday, 9 a.m. on Friday. All right, Sherry.
I'm
call
just a ghost.
Tell them they're doing a shitty job up there in Vermont. Okay. I'm going to have an AFA day. I know you're going to have an AFA day. I know Sherry's already having an AFA day, and she's faded out into the sunset, folks. Thanks for being with us. Love you all. Happy Monday, April 12th, 2021. Go out there and kill it. This is your day. Make it happen. And Sherry, can you hear me? Sherry, can you hear me? All right, I'm going to send the signals. Sherry, what's it all about beyond getting internet that works? What's it all about?
It's about living your best life.
Yeah. All right, guys. Love you all. See you later.
All right.
Yeah.
See you soon.
See ya.